Hello everybody, welcome to the OneCraft Developer Diary, Blab Fest as usual. Got some stuff I want to show you today, and I'm going to do a lot of talking again. I'm not getting as much time to play as I want, and so play to develop, I guess. I used to say play a lot. I'm not getting as much time to develop as I want, and so I'm not making as much progress as I want. But I have been doing a lot of thinking, and I've been doing a lot of planning, and I'm going to talk to you guys about that a little bit as we get going. But I want to just show you guys what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and at least let you know that I haven't stopped and that I haven't forgotten, and hopefully keep you guys somewhat excited and keep getting feedback. That's the number one thing that I want to keep doing here, is getting feedback from you guys, because it's helping a lot. To just hear people, what they have to say, and a lot of times it helps spark things that I've been thinking about or confirms things or whatever. So anyway, I'm going to keep rolling as much as possible, but I don't have as much progress as I would like. I do want to show you a couple things though. I've got a plan. Like I said, I'm going to do a lot of talking here at the end, but I wanted to show you a couple things. So I have kind of a playable, not playable, but getting there. So this is our workbench. I have some thoughts around it, and I think I'm going to keep it. I think I'm also going to keep it as the first thing you get. I think I'm going to keep it all together, because I want this to kind of be the center of the mod in a lot of ways, and I'll talk about things that I'm going to do for that. But I want to show you a couple things. So I've implemented an actual crafting table here, so you can do things like you can make sand and sandstone and whatever else. You can do all kinds of stuff that you're not supposed to see. Let's see. Can I get rid of that? No, I can't. Anyway, all right. Well, get rid of it. Well, you get a peek, sneak preview. Anyway, so this is just a regular crafting bench, but in fact, let's do this. Let's grab one of these and put it. I don't really have anything that I can get rid of right this second, so let's do this. Let's throw that stuff out for a sec. Put that down. And so one thing I'm actually losing my mind here. Right. So this recipe, I hope it doesn't actually exist. I don't think it does. This recipe right here is for what I'm calling the casting furnace, and you'll notice that it doesn't work in a regular crafting table, right? So if we go to this crafting table and we do that same thing, you're going to get, oh, yeah, this is a bug that I found, so never mind this. I'm going to have to fix that. But anyway, it's supposed to require one more here, and it's not that I don't have the recipe right, it's that there's something wrong with my crafting bench. But anyway, it will be bricks inside of iron, and that gives you a casting furnace. And then the casting furnace is this. Now, I threw it together pretty quick. I like the overall look, but you can see it's got some of the weird texturing issues. It's got some of the weird texturing issues on the top because I've got overlapping textures and whatnot. That's one of the problems when you have like blocks that overlap in the corner. A way that you can get around that, I've actually got some pretty clever things that I've found as far as ways that I can get around this kind of stuff with like basically you can paint the entire texture with like because this is all kind of a brush. This is a brush was used to create this. You can paint the entire texture, and then you can like cut out the parts that you want to be something else. So I could basically paint the whole texture twice and then overlay these inside pieces on top of this, and that will make it so that you don't get this. They mesh so perfectly that you don't end up with this problem. Although that's only true when the textures themselves overlap. So there's also, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to have to work on this, I guess is the point. But I do kind of like the model, and it doesn't have a front or anything. It's just, I don't know. Everything that when I was looking up casting furnaces, everything I saw was round. So this is what I went with. So anyway, so that's that. Again, the workbench is pretty cool because you can do, the stuff that you can normally do. You can do in here. So I wanted it to be, use it for normal stuff as well. So it could basically totally replace the regular crafting bench once you get to this. So you need that to make this and, whatever else. By the way, I haven't seen, I'll have to check. I haven't seen a a meteor strike in a long time, so they may be too rare at this point. Oh, and I'm in this world because this is a different world. You guys probably got used to seeing that other one. I managed to corrupt that world bad enough that I couldn't even load it. Actually, it didn't even show up to be loaded, so who knows what I did. But anyway, so here I am. Okay, so now next step. So this will be the first thing. You get this, and then you're going to want to get your casting furnace. And then in the casting furnace, this is going to be kind of a central thing. And again, I'm going to talk about kind of some of the better plan. I think I have a lot more clarity and some plans around what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try to make multitasking devices, right? Where the tools that I create are going to be, or the machines that I create are going to be used, and there's going to be a handful of them, and they will kind of evolve, and they'll be used for a lot of different things. And so the casting furnace will actually be replaced fairly quickly with a blast furnace, but the casting furnace is still going to be required for certain things, and so you'll want to keep it around. But the concepts will be kind of similar between the casting furnace and the blast furnace. They'll have this more advanced GUI. I was thinking the blast furnace might even have more slots, but I don't know that that's really necessary. But I do want them to have multiple slots so that you can actually kind of craft something together in the furnace. So, putting different alloys together and creating whatever. And I want to skip the step of making the alloys, I think, in a lot of cases. I don't really know. It depends, I guess, on what it is. If the alloy is the point, then you can use this furnace to make the alloy. If the alloy is really just a get to something else, then I'm not going to do that. And that's what, in this case, I'm going to show you that's the point. Or the alloy is not the point. The alloy is just what it is. We're talking about cast iron now. And what I've found, again, I'm basing things very, very loosely on reality. I mean, if you could even, it's even less than loosely, but in a lot of cases, it's just me finding things that kind of make sense and just using it for inspiration. So right now, you can use this furnace to make what is going to be called I can't remember, rock crusher mold or something like that, which is this thing, rock crusher casting mold. And you can see that I actually have a very, very ugly item, and that's because I got sick of making items and models and stuff lately, so I went with this, but I'll make something cooler. So anyway, that is very important. That will that's a clay mold. And I'm going to skip the step of like putting it back in the stupid furnace and making it into like a set mold or whatever. So I'm kind of doing that together. I'm just saying that you take clay, put it in there, you make a mold. I don't know. We'll see. Because I know like in TerraFirmaCraft, you have to make the molds and then you have to put them in and you have to put them in a kiln or whatever. And basically, I don't know what they call that, cure them or whatever it is. And I was kind of just thinking about skipping that stuff. But anyway, so now we can put this in here with a steel block or a block of iron and a piece of coal in here, and then there we go, that will smelt down. And the idea is that this is going to be what they call carbon steel, which is steel that contains some certain amount of carbon, and I don't exactly know what the deal is, but that's important because it's just, like I said, I don't know, whatever, it's not important. But then that gives us this rock crusher cast frame. So that's like an actual cast iron frame now. And that should probably take longer, and I haven't really decided. So what I've done is I kind of mixed the metaphors here of, well, no, that's not, I haven't mixed any metaphors. What I've done is mixed the ideas of crafting and smelting. And I've started a custom API, kind of a little mini API around crafting and smelting and recipes and managing that. And I'm going to extend the recipe managers to allow for things like time and stuff like that. So this recipe may take, two ticks of coal as opposed to one, or it may take 8. It might take an entire piece of coal to do this one thing, or it might take even more, or it might take a certain type of fuel. It might take a blasting rod or a whole stack of coal. I don't know. I mean, not a blasting rod, a blaze rod. So anyway, I'm going to think about that kind of stuff and start messing around with that. I'm also thinking that like the molds might go in a separate box or whatever, but I'm trying to keep it very simple. And in fact, some of this is shapeless crafting and some of it's not. Like, I don't know if I've actually added any shapeless recipes right now. I was playing with some, but like this one I might make shapeless. I kind of like that you would have to, in fact, what I was going to do is make it, I think I'm going to change it so that you have to have carbon or steel steel block on top, coal here, and then the thing there. So it kind of, things are falling down into the mold, but whatever, not that important. But anyway, now we've got a rock crusher and we need to go build it. And so the workbench doesn't have any of the stuff. It's going to be a bigger GUI. It's going to be like, 3 times as big as it is now, so that, or something like that, so that we can have the, the piece over here for the enchantment and information, a piece over here for the tool storage, and what tools you have will determine what you can craft. Possibly the enchantment stuff will tell you, what level your tool bench is and what kind of, properties it has and what chances, I don't know. Haven't really thought through all of that. I just know that that's kind of one of the things I want to do. And there's going to be one other thing in this workbench that I'm going to tell you about here in a minute. But anyway, so now we can make a rock crusher. And what I've decided on the rock crusher is I want you to have found a meteor strike. And the reason we're getting to the rock crusher is because we want to basically get more out of our materials, out of our ores and stuff, and not just more like you get more, because I don't even know if I'm going to make it so that you do get more. I don't know if I really like the take a piece of iron and you get 2 iron ingots. That's overkill. That just makes it so you need to make things take more materials. But what you will get is different materials, and I'll talk through that a little bit as well. But anyway, so I'm going to make it require 2 pieces of this rough. That's rock crusher cast. Oh, I think I changed that on accident. Those are supposed to be rough copper ingots. My bad. Anyway, so the rough copper ingots and rock crusher cast frame will make a rock crusher, and the idea is that there's the pieces in the middle, and I'm going to change the model to represent this, to have the little pieces in the middle be out of copper, because I was thinking that you would kind of try to use as much copper as you could with one of these, so you make the cast frame and whatever. And again, it's all a stretch, so don't pay too much attention. But anyway, so that gives you a rock crusher. So now we actually have a path that will get you to a rock crusher. I've got the recipes implemented. You could actually do it, and you can put it down, and it looks like the rock crusher. And again, I'm going to make these pieces here look like copper, I think, and maybe like a couple of little pieces in there. I think it might add some cool, I'm starting to like the look of this thing in general. I mean, it's pretty crappy, but I just was going to mess around and put some copper. Probably that piece down there, the spout would be copper. I've got some other ideas around this. And anyway, so now we can't do anything with it though, right? I mean, it's totally useless to us. And put something in there, nothing happens. But we can then create the pulley component, which I think was this. There we go. So that's my crank pulley. I can take that and stick it on there. And I don't think I actually have a recipe for that. Yeah, it's not going to do anything. But we could put scarn or whatever in there if we had some. And let's try that. Throw that in there. Hand crank it. And it's working, and then we got to come back. And what I'm going to do is change this thing to actually spit the items out, the spout. So they'll spit it out the front. So all of this stuff will get spit out. Now again, I'm putting out iron and flint out of this thing. I need to change it to put out the dusts and whatever. So what you'll be able to do out of scarn, you'll get, right now you're going to get some, I think I'm basically going to go with the concept of, hold on, let's see. I don't know why I always have to have it day. I just do. I think right now I'm going to go with the concept of like dusts or piles or something like that, or ore piles or something, or ore dusts. I don't know, because that seems to, I mean, you get pulverized iron, or you get iron dust or whatever with the other mods that do this, with Industrial Craft or with whatever the other one's called, that has the pulverizer. But I think I can't think of anything else that's like different and clever. But what I think I'm going to do is make it so that you have to have like 4 of anything to get, or maybe even more. Like you have to have, I don't know, like 8 dusts to get an ingot or something like that. Or not, I don't know. Maybe it's 1-to-1. But what I'm trying to do is figure out I know that I'm going to make it copper and nickel come out of scarn, and then one other thing which I haven't decided on yet. Out of iron ore, I'm going to make iron, aluminum, and silica. And that will be used kind of as the tech levels increase for different things. And then And then out of the quartzite is going to be whatever I said, which I can't remember at all. And I have some of this stuff planned out, and some of it I don't. But anyway, so that's the rock crusher is going to be the first step towards doing kind of the next level of things. It's going to be required, and then obviously you're going to want it because you're going to get better and more things out of it. So anyway, that's that. I am going to have it spit out. I'm also going to have it so that you can put a chest in front of it. And so you basically would place it sideways. You'd put a chest there, and you would put the handle out here, and you would have it cranking or have it hooked up to the steam engine or whatever, which we haven't really gotten into. And it would either spit things out onto the ground so that when you're hand cranking it, you can see them come out, or so you can kind of know when you're done or when things are going, or it would spit them out into the chest. And I kind of went back and forth on that, but I think it seems like a good idea. So I think I'm going to go with that. And so that's that. That's kind of the first tech level of, or first, first go round of tech stuff. And I got a lot of stuff. I'm going to fix these up so that they have a cooler, like when they're connected, that belt looks like it's going on the outside instead of just kind of being a part of the wheel, which people have mentioned, and I've wanted to do that for a while. Try to make this probably look a little bit better, make this look like some sort of a mechanism in here, and have an attachment point, like a little square that makes you know that you should put a pulley wheel there, and I don't know. So anyway, that is about it for that. So let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Is there anything else interesting right now? I don't really think there is. So we got the rock crusher mold. I got to change that again. The meteorite fragment, the casting furnace. We got all this junk. So yeah, messing with stuff. Oh, that's my. Oh, this. I haven't showed you guys this. This is what I keep. It doesn't have a name either for some reason. That's the. That's that gravel. That's the scorched gravel, which is very rare, as it turns out. So far, I haven't found any of it naturally. But that's what happens when gravel gets hit with a meteor. And I just messed with it to get a darker looking gravel. I kind of like it. I think it would be kind of a cool gravel. Maybe just a building block. Kind of rare. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so what else? Let me talk kind of now about what the plan is going to be. I'm really excited about this. So let me tell you. So I spent the last weekend doing a bunch of stuff. We went down to the city, went up to the city, I guess, or over to the city, whatever it is. And we, me and my wife and the grandparents watched a couple of our kids, and we took our baby Kate with us, and we went down to IKEA because we have been needing to get some stuff for the basement. Anyway, so we spent like 7 hours in IKEA, and we didn't even, you don't even bat an eye. You spend like 7 hours going through that place, and ended up getting a bunch of stuff for my office / we're doing like school room and stuff like that. Anyway, maybe too much information. So I spent the whole day shopping, and then the whole night until like 3 a.m. putting stuff together, and then the whole day on Sunday putting stuff together. So that's one of the reasons I haven't got to do a lot of work, but on this. But one of the things that happened is my wife and I were talking on the way to the store back. We had about an hour and 15-minute drive each way. And on the way there, first off, I have the coolest wife in the world to like talk Minecraft and mods with me, which she could care less about and doesn't really understand or know that much about, but she got it. I mean, she was very helpful. She was taking notes for me and throwing out ideas and stuff. So anyway, so that's where a lot of this came from. I was trying to put down my thoughts. I was like, I'm taking a notebook. You're just going to write some stuff down for me, help me out, and see if we can, make some sense out of this. So what I've got right now is I've got a plan to get to kind of what the first level of, a plan to get to the second tech level. And I'm going to have them be kind of like things that happen, not kind of like achievements or something, but they're events that occur within the world when you get a certain thing or when you do a certain thing. And as the tech levels raise, so just to give you an idea, the first time that a tech level is going to change is when you're able to find a meteor strike, and you know how we have this, I don't know if I even have it right now, maybe I don't, this meteorite ore, that you can only get with a certain type of pickaxe. It's going to be a carbon fiber steel blended pickaxe, and I'm kind of making that up, but it's going to be kind of cool. Carbon steel thingy. It's not carbon steel in the same. It's maybe a bad name, but anyway, a special pickaxe that you have to get to even harvest this. And to do that, you're going to have to get the blast furnace, and you're going to have to make steel, and you're going to have to make carbon fiber, and you're going to have to make this mesh alloy thing, and then you're going to have to get this pickaxe. And once you do, then you can harvest this, and you're going to take your first piece, and you're going to put it in a slot on your workbench. And I think I'm not exactly sure. I think it's going to be, I don't know. But anyway, haven't figured it all exactly if there's one or multiple workbenches or if they all can like work together. You can put it in any workbench that is within the world. And once you get like, maybe it's per user, I guess, or per player or whatever. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. So anyway, you'll place that block in here. And as soon as you do that, the world will become tech level 2. And that will mean things like, I think what the tech level 1 workbench is going to look very wooden and stuff like that. This is probably what the tech level 2 workbench will look like. The tech level 2 casting furnace will have a different look. It'll look more modern, and the tech level 2, this thing will look more modern, and pulley wheels may turn into something else. Maybe they turn into, I don't know. I haven't decided all of that yet. But everything is going to change. It's going to become, as far as the machines, and it's going to become like a next tech level. And that's just going to be a visual indicator of things that are actually going to change in the gameplay mode. Like you will be able to do things that you couldn't before. So one of the things will just be by virtue of having that meteorite ore, you'll be able to build new things and start working towards the next tech level. And the next tech level is going to actually be, I thought that was an animal, is going to actually be reached when you're able to harvest a certain crystal. And my thoughts are that in the middle of every meteor strike, there's going to be one of these crystals. And this crystal will be, you have to harvest it with some sort of a laser tool. And so everything from once you hit tech level 2, you're going to be working towards getting this laser tool or the laser technology, and then making this tool to allow you to harvest that block. And when you harvest that thing, you'll take the first one of those that you get back and you'll put it in the workbench, and that will make everything turn into tech level 3. And tech level 3 will be, things will look even more advanced, and they'll get like a little more techy and whatever. And then you'll be working towards the next level. And I haven't figured out the next thing that I'm gonna have you put in the table to go to tech level 4. But the ultimate goal is, and I don't know if any of you ever remember, like when I used to talk about making mods, a while back when I was playing, Technic and all that junk. But one of the things I talked about 2 things. One was the meteor thing, which I've finally implemented, and it makes me feel very good. And the second one was satellites. I want to implement satellites in the game. I want ultimately like it to be a space race that you get a satellite into orbit. And so you'll have to build rockets and whatever. And I just think it would be so awesome to like be able to like build one and see it, and then launch an actual satellite, and then have the satellite like geosynchronous orbit or something above you, so and provide some awesome capabilities, and then kind of go from there. But again, I mean, this is like so far down the road. At the rate that I'm going right now, it's going to take me, well, basically an infinite amount of time to get all of this stuff implemented, even just the stuff that I know about right now. So, but that's what I'm kind of working towards. So that gives you guys a little bit of an idea of what I'm thinking. So, yeah, so that's that. So let me talk you through then what you have to do to get to the first tech level. So, so the first thing you have to do is get the cast furnace, right? So you can get the first thing you have to do is get this. And I think I changed the recipe to actually take just a regular chest instead of an ender chest. It is still taking a enchanting table, and it's still taking the 3 blocks of iron and the crafting table. So it's going to be chest, crafting table, enchanting table, the 3 blocks of iron. It is going to take a book, and I'm probably going to change the compass and stuff to other things. Somebody had a good idea. I wish I actually, you know what? Let me check that real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm already at like 25 minutes. Yeah, so it's OMG, it's Rebirth, who's had a lot of comments and a lot of really good stuff. Actually, thank you a lot for all of your feedback. He had said something about actually having like a lamp on the workbench that would like turn off or on so that the area around the workbench would be lit, like it would be automatic in the area around. And I could even have a switch that said like whether it should turn off or on, or if whether it should turn on when it's dark, so that there could be like a lamp, like it would give off light or something. I think that would be kind of cool. That was a good idea. But yes, as far as like other things that you might have, I'm definitely going to have tools, and a recipe book, and that's some, that was another comment that he had. But I had already really planned on having tools, but that's why I have the toolbox area, and a recipe book and things like that. That I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to implement all that, but and the tools will add different things to the bench, being able to build new things. And I think you'll have to have the bench to make them. So anyway, that's a couple of things. So let's see. I was just looking through some comments here, and yeah, let's see. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm going. A lot of people have said they don't like the idea of the clock and the compass, and I kind of agree. So I'm going to think of different things. But anyway, so sorry, total tangent. So you're going to get a casting furnace. That's going to be the first thing you're working towards. Or I mean, you're going to get a workbench. Then with the workbench, you'll be able to make the casting furnace, which again is the iron and the brick. And then when you get a casting furnace, you'll be able to make the rock crusher frame, which will be the mold. And then you'll take the mold and you'll put the iron block and the coal in, and you'll get the frame, and then you'll take that and you'll go over here and you'll put your frame and your pieces of rough copper in here, and you'll get the rock crusher itself. You'll make a pulley wheel, and then we will be able to work towards a blast furnace. And the blast furnace, I think I'm going to make like this. So you'll do, let's see, you'll do that for, or no, I think what I was thinking is that you would do this. You would have to have a casting furnace for every block. I'm trying to think if that's what let me read my notes. No, that's not true. That was going to be what you would have to have for the actual final block, the actual casting furnace block, the machine itself. But then for the others, you would use an iron block and brick blocks, and maybe just one per, like this. So maybe that would give you a casting or a blast furnace block, and you would need to have, I think you would have to have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those, 11 of those, because it would look something like, I think if I was messing with it before, it was something like this, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, like that, and then the actual block would go there. I'm thinking that's what I was going to do for the blast furnace. I mean, it's, most of the other ones that you see are like this, one higher even. And I don't know. I feel like the scale, I don't know. That's not bad. I just didn't want to do exactly what everybody else had done, but I feel like the scale of that is okay. It's, I don't know. There was just something about this that appealed to me as far as not being quite as obnoxious, and you could put it different places. So I don't know if that's what I'll do or not, but that's what I was thinking, that this would be your blast furnace, or even, yeah. So anyway, so then you'll get the blast furnace, and you can only build it here, and you have to have the casting furnace. Let's see. I guess in my current model you don't. So I'm going to have to think of a reason that you need to have a blast furnace. Well, you have to have, the casting furnace. You have to have the casting furnace to even get the mold and to do the casting. You're not going to be able to do that in the blast furnace. Too hot, too crazy, right? So I'm going to keep these two for two different things. This is going to be an alloy furnace, a crazy furnace, and this is going to be for just normal stuff. And I'm probably also going to make it so you still want to use the regular furnace that comes with the game. Anyway, so you get to the blast furnace, and then that is the big step towards getting this fancy pickaxe, which is going to allow you to do steel ingots. So you'll use iron dust, nickel dust, and flux, which I haven't decided where you'll get that from. And you'll do that in the blast furnace, and that will give you steel ingots. And then you'll use steel ingots to make, and then you'll take coal dust, which is going to be in the rock crusher. And again, this is something it's the only one I could think of. I think Industrial Craft is who did it, where you get coal dust and then you somehow use that. You turn it like coal dust into coal chunks, into coal balls, into carbon fiber mesh, into carbon fiber plate or something like that. I'm not going to go that route, but I think I am going to start with coal and turn coal into carbon fiber somehow. I have to look into what I think would be interesting with that. But you'll coal in a rock crusher or whatever. And then once you get to that point, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. I might do it in the blast furnace again, or it might just be that you craft it here. You'll have to craft carbon fiber steel ingots or something like that. And then those will be used to make the pickaxe that you can then use to go and harvest that material, bring it back here and get to tech level 2. So that's the work towards tech level 2. And in the middle of that, there's going to be a lot of other stuff going on. So I talked earlier in the thing about machines, and I know it's probably already 30 minutes plus, but let me just really quickly, I was reading through my notes. Let me just tell you about the machines I'm talking about having right now. So we've got the rock crusher, we've got the blast furnace over there, we've got the casting furnace. I'm going to have a mixer. So I'm really trying to think of things that will make having cobblestone really useful. And I haven't come up with a really good answer for that yet. But one of the things, not even really useful, but just something you can use a ton of cobblestone for. One of the things that I want to do, and I think I'm going to use cobblestone in the process, is I want to make concrete blocks. I want them to be really cool looking, and I want them to, I think I mentioned this before, I want you to be able to stain them and stuff like that. And, like people use concrete and stain it all the time to make things look really cool, or make certain buildings, or make foundations, or, whatever. I want concrete in the game. I've seen it. I'm not trying to think which mod it was, but I built a big chunk of, I think, my factory in the world before we went to the new FTB world on Crafters. I had built that a lot of that building out of it. Very cool looking material, and I want to have it expand on that idea. So anyway, I'm going to have a mixer which you'll use to make concrete, which you'll use to make cement, which you'll use to make concrete. You're going to have a lathe. So a lathe will be, at first it'll be just a wood lathe, but as the tech levels increase, you'll also be able to it'll be like a metal lathe, and that's going to be cool. That's going to allow you to do things like, you're going to take blanks, which you'll make with a saw. So that's the other machine, is a saw, and there'll be other uses for the saw as well. But so you got a saw. Let me go through them: rock crusher, blast furnace, casting furnace, mixer, lathe, and saw. Those are the things that I'm thinking of right now. And anyway, you get blanks on the saw, you take blanks, and you can make them into different things on the lathe. You can make them into, like, first off, you can make handles. So you'll make like a heavy duty wooden handle, which you can use to make tools, and it'll just give them a higher level of whatever, probably. So I was thinking that a wooden handle would give it a little bit more durability, a steel handle would give it even more durability, and then a carbon fiber handle would give it the same durability as steel, but also more efficiency. And you would have to use this workbench to do that. And then, of course, you would get possible enchantments and things like that come just only from the workbench by doing that, just like you do with other things. So like when you create the rock crusher, I should have mentioned that. So as you're doing all these things, when you create the rock crusher or whatever, when I get the enchantment system in place, you'll get, levels on the bench for creating things, and then random chances based on the level of the workbench and the experience and the properties of the workbench. You'll get random chances to get certain things. So like you might get efficiency on this or whatever. Again, haven't thought through all that. But the other thing you can make on the lathe, and this is something that I just cannot believe that hasn't been put in the game, and maybe it has. Maybe you guys know about this. And I don't. But one of the things you'll make on the lathe is table legs. I want a table in the game that is block height, block width, and has 4 legs. And it doesn't have to look fancy. I'm going to make it look like a wood freaking block, but it's going to be a table. I mean, it's probably going to look different than a wood. I mean, it'll be a little more smooth looking. But anyway, And then what I'm going to do is make it so that you can put, so it'll have 4 legs all the time. If you put one here and one here, it'll have 2 legs on this end and 2 legs on this end. And if you put one here, it'll have, 2 legs, 2 legs, and 2 legs. And if you put one here, it'll just have, 2 legs on the very outsides. And it will just be infinitely expandable. You can just make it as big as you want, and it will always have legs on the corners. And if it gets too big, it will look weird, and maybe I'll make bigger legs if it gets over a certain size. But you could have this whole thing just be one table. And then you can just put things on it, right? I mean, like, put machines or put stuff on it. I'm going to see how it works, and maybe there's a reason. Maybe it doesn't look that good, or maybe it's not a great idea, but I want a freaking table, and I want it to be just infinitely expandable so I can make it, and you can make a workbench like this, and put stuff on it, put pots or put, I don't know, whatever stuff you would put on it, put things on the table. So that's one of the things I'm going to do. And that would require table legs, and you'd use the saw to make a table top and whatever. So those are some additional things, just kind of random. And then I guess the one other thing that I was going to talk about was rubber. And I think, because right now, what I haven't really done a good job, like I haven't represented, how is this belt getting into the game? Like, I mean, I made, this is wood and iron, but how is a belt getting there? And why? And why isn't that updating? I got bugs, obviously. Oh well. Anyway. And why isn't that cranking? It's cranking that one, but it's not cranking that one. I think it's because there's consumers on both ends. It's very confused. Anyway, yeah, so why is there a belt, and what is it made of? So that's one thing. That's it. I think I've rambled on enough. I was just kind of looking to see if there was other stuff, but yeah, tools and tech levels and all that junk is kind of the... Oh, ground brick was another thing that was going to be important for concrete. Ground brick and sand for cement, and then there's something else. I don't know, all the limes and crap that are used for that. So you'll do all that stuff, put it in the mixer, and then things will happen. So, yeah, I think... You know what I think is happening here? I just realized if we were to remove this, no, it's not. This used to have the like little furnace thing going. Let's see. Does it actually work if I put something in it? What can I put in it? I guess I can put this. Yeah, it's not doing it. I have the little furnace active like flames that come out of the furnace. I have that coming out of the bottom of this thing. So it will show you when it's active, but I think I broke that. Anyway, so yeah, I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I know that was a long and tedious episode probably, but I just wanted to show you what I'm thinking. I'm really excited about this. I'm actually at the point now where I can, because of what I have here, I can actually in my test world do some playing. I'm going to start, I'm going to move all of my test world play. I'm going to move it over. I'm going to use that same world that I'm in. And I've done a lot of stuff there. I found some cool stuff. It's just been a fun thing for me to do when I need a break and play. I'm going to move it over to playing in a non-development environment, and I'm going to deploy the mod to it and do most of my playing there and testing. And then pretty soon I'm going to actually convert that into a server world and then try the server stuff, because I haven't actually played this on a server yet to see if it works, because I'm sure there's going to be bugs and things I'm going to have to sort out, and the sooner I do that, the better. So anyway, that's just to kind of give you an idea. I'm really excited though, because I have it now where I, the ability to make this and that and all of that stuff within the game, and kind of have an early, it at least gives me something to work towards and start. And then if I can get the recipes for the rock crusher in place, like the iron, and I can start smelting, or I can start crushing down all my materials and start stockpiling the stuff that I'm going to need to work towards the next levels of things. So, yeah. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. If you liked it, thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter, Minecraft OTB. It's a great way. I'm starting to get, I'm getting some followers there, but I haven't done much talking on Twitter lately, except, just saying, here's a new video. I'm going to need to change that. I need to get more communication going. So if you guys have things that you want to talk to me about, please respond, and that'll be a good way for me to get some communication going on Twitter. And yeah, tell your friends. And and I'll be putting something out for you guys to play as soon as I feel like it's in a place where it's playable and there's enough to make it interesting, which I think I'm getting close once I get the recipes for that rock crusher thing in place, and some of the basically once I get to that tech level 1 thing, which I don't think I have that much that I need to do. And then I'll implement the lathe and the additional machines kind of as it goes along, and we'll see where we get. But anyway, thanks guys for watching again, and I'll talk to you next time.